Hello and welcome to the session for automating decision making using IDP. We are very grateful here today to have our guest speaker, Mr. Ansari Ismail. Hi, Ansari. Thank you for joining us. Ansari is actually an esteemed speaker that we have invited. He is also a co-founder of Bob Minds AI, and he is responsible for building an AI platform to capture, search, analyze, and automate documents and web pages. So Ansari has been doing AI and automation for quite some time now, and he has worked for world-renowned organizations like Microsoft, Johnson and Johnson, and he's also a founding member of Azure Machine Learning and also a senior Microsoft research scientist. Welcome again, Ansari. Thanks again. I appreciate for you to join us today. Shall I leave the stage to you to take us through the topic of automating decision making using ITP? All right. Thank you, Ansari.
All
Thank
right.
you so much.
Thanks, John. Thanks, John. Hello, everyone. Good morning. Good morning, folks. Um, as John said, my name is Ansari Ismail. I'm a CTO, co-founder of BotMinds AI. Very excited to talk to you about today, what's going on in this automation world, right? It's a very exciting time to live, like the all automation era. Before I get into that, a quick logistics. You can see in your right side or left side of the window, there is a questions. Ask me any questions anytime. Let's keep it more engaging. I'm not gonna wait till the end of the session. Anytime I'm gonna see like 5 minutes, 10 minutes once. Is there any questions there? I'm gonna answer those questions. So let's keep it engaging. So with that, let's get started. And it's all about automation, right? So I'm gonna start with one basic thing. As I said, automation era. We are just, by the way, in a very early days in this automation world. It's gonna go for the next 10 years, 20 years. A lot of excitement things going on, but now before we get into the detailed automation, I want to give some idea to all of you. How do we categorize those automation, and then so that we can go one at a time, how do we handle all of them, and how do we put those into enterprise companies, and how we can automate all of them, right? Now with that, here is the one quick way to categorize. One type of, again, I'm talking about more of a software automation, not like robotic, meaning the physical robots, not that, more of a software automation here, right? With those software automation, generally we classify those automation into three categories. One is automation for mundane task. What is mundane task? For example, let's say every day morning you want to send an email to your manager, or every day evening you want to log into Salesforce, take the couple of sales lead and send it to sales manager, right? So these are all mundane tasks. Why I call it as a mundane task? First of all, there is no much intelligence or any decision making going on. You fundamentally do the same thing again and again and again every day, right? Or every hour. There's some kind of a schedule you do, and then you keep doing it. That's the mundane task. But now, where are we on this? Before I go to the next two, I'm gonna kind of wrap it up, right? Where are we on this mundane task? Now, there are a lot of exciting tools there in the last 10 years, 15 years, RPA tools, and no code RPA tools, but also code based RPA tools. And you can automate them. It's the way we automate them is like just a record. It's fundamentally you go record them, like kind of a screen record, click, and then you do that 1, 2, 3 steps or 4 steps, whatever steps. Then you replay, it'll automatically happen, right? It's very easy to do that. It's pretty nice and clean. It's kind of I would say it's done. A lot of automations are already there. Now, let's go to the second type, automation for capturing data. And also the third one, automation for decision making. These both are like kind of intertwined, right? It's kind of together. I'll explain why. Let's talk about decision making, right? Let's say there is an email comes in to your email box. Let's say you're on the customer care side, and you want to automate that by routing the right email to the right department. How do you do? So you need to read the email, but that is the decision making. You need to apply your intelligence or your common sense to figure out where to send it, right? So that's kind of some level of intelligence you need to apply. Same thing for capturing data too. Let's say you have some kind of a unstructured data. I'll come to that in the next slide. But wherever you want to capture data, you want to go to Wikipedia and read it and get the definition of a specific entity. What do? You need to understand them. You need to apply your intelligence. So those are all the intelligence need necessary automation, right? Can we do that today? Totally. I mean, that's where the AI comes in. 15 years ago or 20 years ago, it's hard problem to solve. But today, with the help of AI, we can take the AI, combine them with automation. We can do this capturing data and also decision making, right? So that is a very interesting thing going on today. Now, with that, now I'm going to go a little bit on talk about unstructured data. Now you understand the automation for decision making, but this all starts with understanding the unstructured data. But that's where the data is, like emails or web pages, whatever. Before I go, I want to give an idea about what is unstructured data. There are a lot of confusion there. I want to put that in straight so that we are on the same page, right? Yeah. Again, as I said, folks, like keep asking questions. I want to look at the questions once in a while. If there are any questions, I'm going to answer that. Okay. Now, now with that, if you look at the unstructured data, we can generally again classify them into two groups. All kind of documents and web pages, which is like a human readable format, right? A PDFs, emails, web pages, static and dynamic web pages. All of those things like kind of a document that as a human we read it, right? Those are one type of unstructured data that was not built for machine readable. Machine can render though, but it cannot understand. Machine cannot understand today. Now, there's another group of data. It's like all kind of medias and logs, for example, audios, videos, logs, right? And now there's so much videos coming in every day, TikTok to YouTube and all those videos. Now there are so much data stuck inside, and same thing goes to web pages too. There is a trillion pages every year getting added, right? Now, if you want to apply any automation on top of this data, the problem is that you need to first process them, not just process them. There are different type of activities you do. So here is what are the things you do, right? One, extraction. Like how do you apply intelligence and then extract or capture varieties of information from emails and web pages and also videos and all, right? So that's one area. Not just the capture part. Let's say you capture some information. There's certainly going to be a data quality problem. How do you enrich the data, and how do you make the data quality? And then also the third part is like, how do you make it searchable so that you can explore, understand whether everything is right or wrong, and you can pinpoint the right data, and also build on insights and eventually automate, right? So these are all the intelligent processing activities that you generally do on this unstructured data. Why this is all necessary? Unless otherwise you cannot do this, you cannot automate. So the automation is the last piece. You need to know how to capture data, how to make sure quality, how do you search, how do you bring insights out of it. Once everything is ready, that means your intelligence part is ready. Then after finally, you're just applying a quick if or else automation, right? So for automation, all of these things are important. Now in this session, I'm gonna more talking about these things, documents and web pages, because that's the IDP comes in. What is IDP? Intelligent document processing. So I'm not gonna talk much about audios or videos, but I'm gonna more talk about documents and web pages. So with that, let's see what is IDP, right? Today, two things. IDP fundamentally fuels data economy and automation. Why? As I said initially, automate data capture or automate decision making both need data. And where do you get the data? The data is stuck in the documents and web pages. Now, what happens if you bring the data out? You're literally fueling the data economy, because this whole world is all about data. You bring more data, you can build more insights, more automation, right? It's kind of all connected together. Now, that's why the IDP is so important. Now, with that, I also want to talk about a little bit past, present, and future of the IDP, right? Quickly. Now, again, this IDP, as I said, intelligent document processing, it's not a recent problem. This problem was there for more than 300, 400 years. You know why? The day when we invented a printing technology, we got into this problem, right? Like people started printing varieties of documents. But always there are scientists, leaders has a wish that, hey, is there a way I can summarize all of them, right? Hundreds of documents. Why should I read everything? Can I summarize it, right? That's the problem always there. Now, in the last 30 years, though, the problem literally become much, much bigger now. Why? We kind of invented a digital documents, PDFs and web pages and all. And this last 30 years, there's so much research going on. Why finally? Because the huge, massive data insights stuck in the documents. Just imagine, right? You completely unleash them, and the sky's the limit. A lot of exciting insights we can build on top of it. So this is the problem. I mean, this problem is so important problem for the humanity, for the science, for the technology, how we can push everything to the next level, right? Now what we have done so far, right? It's a little bit of past here. What we have done now, if you take any documents, we know how to digitize, meaning the OCR thing that we already solved, it's all done and dusted. And large scale document management, we have done. Similarly, the basic data capture, for example, without applying intelligence. Hey, is there a way I can get a phone number out of a document or email ID out of a document? But these are all rule based, right? You can apply reject kind of a logic and you can capture them. So that was kind of done. What is what is what is happening today? The current state of IDP. Now, today, after like last 10 years, probably we are applying AI to capture data with super intelligence. We know how to classify documents. We know how to capture varieties of information out of it. And not only that, we also kind of solving this data quality by keeping human in the loop validation or human in the loop automation. And even if sometimes the automation captures all the data nice and clean, there are certain regulation that human has to be involved, for example in the healthcare side. So hence the human in the loop automation plus compliance, we make sure the data is really high quality. So that is the current state of IDP, right? um, I'm kind of looking at this side again. If any of you have any questions, anything, please ask me. I'll keep answering there. Um, and by the way, whenever I see this side, that means I'm looking at a different screen here. Okay, good. So far, no questions. All right, keep going. Now with this current state of IDP, right? You got to know where we are, but where are we going? What's the next step? But the next step is very exciting, right? Here is where we are going now. The future of IDP is all about. It's not just capturing the data. It's not just extracting information out of it. It is all about bringing a search. A search is very essential. Think about it. If you can ask any question, if you get an answer instantly, I mean, that's so beautiful. Now you all know there's varieties of, Siri and Alexa and all kind of devices. Ask a question, you get it. It's part of the search. And then again, analytics, right? How do you build analytics on top of millions and trillions of documents? And how do we automate it? So this is where we are going now. Now I'm going to take one at a time, and I want to give you a little bit idea what's exactly going on in this each piece. Let's talk about only the capture, right? Now, when you look at this capture part, what you see on the left side, kind of an image where you have documents, like not one page, 2 page, sometimes like 1,000 page document, sometimes even a 2,000, 5,000 page document, a complex dynamic web page. Now, how do we apply AI to read and understand the documents and tables and signatures and barcodes and everything, capture varieties of information is something that right now we are solving as an industry, right? These are all comes under IDP tools. Okay. Now, if you look at the right side, you can see like one is a semantic understanding. How do you understand all the information out of it? Table and form, classifying them, extracting varieties of information. This is now part of the IDP tools nowadays, right? So that's a capture part. Capture any information from documents. Not only the capturing part, it also involves some kind of a data quality and data enrichment. Data enrichment is very exciting field, by the way. So what is that? Let's say you got a document, for example, healthcare document, right? Now there is a drug name or disease name. But even if you're a doctor, you cannot remember the definition of every disease name in the world, right? There are a lot of rare diseases, a lot of drugs named. So now, how do you enrich those drug names or any entities, showing the data quickly in your document itself is called enrichment. The enrichment is for multiple purposes. Purpose one, you will have all the data instantly in your fingertips. So you don't need to go back on Wikipedia or PubMed and search it all there, right? One. And second, the enrichment actually helps to do a much more cognitive search. So that leads to the second part. Now, it when you have thousands and thousands of documents, think about all the questions you ask, right? Let's take some concrete example. Contract documents. Let's say there is a 100,000 contract documents. If you are a very large organization, you have a lot of contract documents. Now, how do you know which contract is expiring next week? And because the informations are stuck inside the document, right? Now, once you capture all the information, not just capturing, and if you enriching all the information, now you can enable the search engines. So then you can say, ask a question, hey, where is show me all the documents which expires next week. It'll show you all the documents. Or you can also ask the question, hey, which contract on product A we are selling, right? So you might be selling like A, B, C, 3 product, and you want to know all the contracts where the product A is being sold. Then you can pull it. Now, what happens is that with the search, you can more automate overall this process by having every data just in a fingertips, right? In the very fingertips. So that is the search part. And also talking about the technology behind search, you guys need to really understand exciting going on here. And particularly, there's a breakthrough in the last 2-3 years in AI. We call it as a language model. And then you might have heard about it. There's a GPT-1, GPT-2, GPT-3. And you know what is language model? Like, it is nothing but predicting a next word given a previous few words, right? When you talk in English or any language and given like few words, how do I predict the next word? It's kind of a language model. The quality of the language model is phenomenal today. Now, with those language models and with those IDP technology, what is IDP again, right? Applying a AI on the document. You combine them together, you can come up with the exciting search today. Now, any contract manager so far in their life, they always go, read and read and read. No, you don't need to read, right? Humans should not read boring documents. That's what I think always, right? We should read like very exciting novels and all kind of philosophical books, but not a boring document like contract document. But if you want to answer, yeah, go quickly search and get it. And that's how it's supposed to be, right? Now I'll keep going. So this is the second part. A capture is the first, a search is the second one. Now let me jump into the third one, right? Analytics. What does that mean? Again, it's kind of similar to search, but it's a more of analytics, right? Let's say same example, you have thousands and thousands of contract documents. Now you can ask a question, show me all the contract value of last quarter. And but now the each numbers are sitting in a varieties of document. It's not a structured data. I mean, that's what you need to understand. I know most of you are on a technology side, you probably know what is structured data, which is kind of a tabular data, right? If any tabular data, you can put it in a nice database, relational database, and you can query them easily. But what happens if all the data is stuck in the documents? It's going to be a hard problem. Now, if I have a question, hey, show me the contract value of the last quarter, it has to read all the documents, pull it all the value from varieties of place, right? And then bring everything together, bring analytics, and then show it to you. But that's if you have that, that's beautiful, right? So literally humans should not read boring documents, right? So that way we can solve the analytics problem. So that's the third one. Let me see. I'm seeing a question here. What would your advice be if you want to start with automation? Okay, good question. But this is something not exactly with IDP. I'll handle this question last when I'm finishing the session. Marco, that was a question from Marco. All right. So now, what is the fourth part? The fourth part is nothing but folks, it's automation, end-to-end automation. I'll give you a few examples here, right? One example I said already, that's an email. An email comes in and you need to route it. Good example, right? Let's take a few more examples. I want all of you to understand the scope and the use cases and then the varieties of use cases there in this IDP world. One of the other use cases is that in terms of automation perspective, let's say RFP, right? When you get RFP kind of a document, like tender documents, what happens? Um, let's say you're a construction company and you are reading a tender document, let's say 100 tender documents, for example, every day, right? If you're a large construction company, what do you generally do? Some of the tender documents is not acceptable for you because there is a risk in it. You won't take those projects. Some of the projects are very comfortable for you. You have an expertise on it. Now, today, what do? People have a tender team. They will read, understand all the paragraphs of the tender document, and then they will figure out whether this is the right one to give a proposal or not. But why not we automate that? We can absolutely automate, right? Here's the automation steps. You pull the document, tender document, apply an AI, read it line by line, paragraph by paragraph, all the tables in it, figure out which classes are all talks about some kind of risks in it, figure out the risk score. If the risk score is high, alert the risk manager not to take that uh, tender and don't even go for a proposal, right? So that's the one of the beautiful automation which we can do. And not only that, there are many more automations like that we can do. And once you combine this capture, search, analyze, and automate part. So now, where am I here? So far, what I was talking is that IDP, if you want to do a automation to do a decision making, you need to process unstructured data. I'm just kind of summarizing. So automation of three types, and then the major is that the decision making automation. That's where there's a lot of value for all of us, and that's where we are moving as an automation industry. Now, for that to do, you need to process unstructured documents. And in those unstructured data, there is unstructured documents like PDFs and web pages. In that, I was talking about like four major things that is happening today in the industry. How do you capture all the data? How do you make sure you can search any of them? And how do you analyze and how do you automate? But that's not enough. There's a few more things that I want to talk about, right? Let's say you have the system nice and clean. Is that a good to go? No, we are not moving this industry much faster. Why? If everything has become a steep learning curve involved, or everything is like complex non-trivial things, again we are kind of defeating the purpose. We can't automate everything. Now what do we need to do? So today there are varieties of IDP platforms comes into market, and what we need is that we need a no code platform. That is where the RPA developers, uh, citizen level developers, without involving in a coding, they can automate it. And that's what happening now. That's what really happening now. People can, and in the keynotes, we were talking about hyper automation. What does that mean? You do a rapid automation in a 2 weeks and 4 weeks time. Can we do that? We can do today. That's to get to that part, you need a no code platform. You need a AI first approach. AI should be every layer of your architecture. Otherwise, you can't put the AI on the top. AI cannot be icing. And that you all need to understand that part. And also is to be vertically integrated and always focus on the end-to-end automation, right? This is where the ease of use comes in. If we cannot solve the user experience, then we will be stuck again. So then we will literally going and writing coding by coding and then take like months and years to automate every process. And that's not the right way to scale this whole world. If you want to push the whole world much faster, what we need is that these four important qualities, right? So that's the overall where we are moving forward. How do we have the nice user experience with a four model which I was talking about? With combining all of them, we can literally push this overall industry. You can automate any decision making with a fantastic IDP technology. Now again, as I said, the IDP technology is amazing, and as I was also giving a couple of use cases here and there. Um, this is like art of possibility. There are so many use cases there. Again, it depends on where you are in your journey, in your career. You could be learning these technologies, or you'd be implementing these technologies right now in your organization. And but whichever industry you are, I'm very damn sure that There'll be always documents and always web pages there. Always, right? Now, you might be on a legal side, research side, finance, insurance, wherever you go, there is a document there. There is a web pages there, right? And let me take some random one. For example, let's take that it's competitive intelligence, right? In the research one, what is competitive intelligence? I'm not gonna go everything one by one, right? I'm gonna take one or two random and then just give you an idea. The competitive intelligence is all about, let's say you have a competitor, uh, either for a product perspective or a company perspective. You want to know what they are doing, you want to understand them, you need to track them, right? So that means you need to go to their website and look at their products and look at their solution, look at their offerings, look at their all kind of things, right? Now, not only one, you could do multiple. Let's say you're running an e-commerce company, you want to know what your competitors are selling, then they may have thousands of products. You want to know what their prices are and how frequently they are changing the pricing, right? Now, what do? You need to set up some kind of a system, and that's where these kind of IDP systems going to help you. What do? They literally go crawl varieties of pages, applying IDP technology, and read them. Again, read them like a human, not like a rule based. Otherwise, things will get broken, right? And you apply AI, read them, understand them, and take all the products and data and then the pricing details, and then you do a data quality data check and then come back and say, oh, here is all structured data for you. So that's where the IDP going to be super helpful, right? So this is a one area, the research that a lot of research people are using today, IDP. And if you are into the research, go literally do some experiment with a brand new IDP platforms and technologies. I'm sure you will see a lot of value there. And this is the one I was talking about, the risk class analysis, that you can take any complex documents and you can do a risk class analysis automatically through IDP today, right? So anyway, there are many more going on. I'm not going to go into that. Accounts payable is a very old problem, like invoice automation. It's a very, very old problem. I would say it's kind of done and dusted. There's today any complex invoices, this IDP platforms, IDP technology can solve it, right? So I let me see in the side. Are there any questions? Again, I see one more question. What do you believe are the biggest challenge with automation? Okay, all right. So I am gonna answer that one too. That's not exactly about IDP, so I will take that when I'm able to finish that stuff, right? So now, um, as I said, like many use cases, but then couple of use cases I want to go little detail. I want all of you to understand where we are today and what is the current technology and what is the how we differ from the IDP technology, right? Here is one example that this example I already talked about a little bit, but I'm gonna go again to make sure all of you understand. And now let's call this as a contract abstraction. You can replace the contract with something else. That's totally okay. You can say healthcare documents, or you can say mortgage documents, contract documents. Either is fine. Now imagine you have thousands and thousands of documents in your database, right? Don't worry, don't read all of them. I'm gonna give you some big picture idea here. There's a lot of wordings in this slide, but the big picture idea is that if you want to understand those documents, capture varieties of data, and 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 do the search and analytics and automation, what is today, what technology we have, and what how it differs from IDP technology. Look at in the last column here. That's RPA and other. Now there's a huge misconception with the RPA folks is that, oh, everything and anything can be done with RPA technology. Not really, not really. And and that's where you need to choose the right tools, right technologies, not even a tool, the right technologies. And now if you apply RPA, as I said, it's for mundane tasks. And there are certain RPA tools which there's a possibility of applying AI, but it is still, as I said, the AI is like kind of icing, not really deep down integrated AI, right? Now, if you apply RPA on those documents, you'll be in trouble. Here is a quick history, right? Like when I was my previous organization, Microsoft, and previous companies, I was got into this kind of problem. It's a very challenging problem. And then when you apply simple rule-based things, it will break. The problem is that it is every time the temperature changes, things will always get broken, and that's a problem. And that's why this IDP technologies come in. And now, if you can look at here in this is kind of a solution that today now people also call it a document AI. Again, there's a document AI, document IDP, document understanding. It's kind of all synonym today. Different companies use different technologies. For example, Google says document AI. Even Microsoft, I think, say document AI. And other some RPA companies uses the word document understanding, but doesn't matter. Everything is same. It's all IDP, intelligent document processing. Now, if you apply intelligent document processing, then this can be much more nice and clean solved, and you won't end up with a broken technology. Otherwise, things will get broken another month later, and then brand new contract comes in. You don't know how to apply and how to read them, right? So that's a challenge I see. Now, going back to this problem statement, if you have these kind of a large scale contract documents, how do you apply IDP, read all the documents, capture all those data, and structure them and make it searchable? This all can be done by IDP technology. So with the same thing, I'm going to go a little bit again. I'm not going to go into this one because it's a similar one. For example, press release monitoring, right? What does this mean? Now, let's say it's similar to competitive intelligence. Let's say you want to go read the press releases every day. There is 100,000 press releases coming every day, right? Now, let's say you are in a specific industry, healthcare, and you want to know what kind of a press release coming every day in a healthcare, right? Then what do? It's very hard problem. You can't solve it manually. You cannot go and read all of them every day, right? It's almost impossible task. Then let's say you automate them. When you automate them, yeah, you go write a crawl the pages, and then once you crawl, you scrap all the content. That's fine. But after that, what do? Then you need an intelligence. Then you need to let the machine read those documents, read the press releases, and understand them, semantic meaning, capture the varieties of information, and then you can structure them. So that way you can build intelligence on what's happening in your current industry, right? So that is yet another solution. These are all the solutions which have really implemented already, and it's just an example for all of you that what is all going on here. um, now beyond that, there are many more solutions can be built, and as I said, IDP is very exciting technology. The sky is the limit here, right? So comparing with the alternatives, there's not really good alternative today. If you use RP or fragile, it's very fragile, or if you do a OCR, it's more problematic. So the best technology is that IDP, and then go from there, right? Okay, so let me see. I'm not seeing there's much questions there, and it's pretty much my talk is over. But I'm gonna now look at the questions, and then let me see. Okay, so the two questions I see now. What would your advice be if you want to start with automation? Right now, again, this question kind of there's a two meaning for this question. One, as in a career, if you want to start automation, or you want to implement automation in your organization, right? There's two things, but I'm going to answer both of them, right? Let's say if you want to start your career in automation, all I would say is that, first of all, it's a good decision. Everyone need to get into automation, because automation is like become your it's just like Excel kind of a thing. Everyone knows Excel, everyone knows PowerPoint. Similarly, automation, everyone should learn it, whether you do AI based automation or at least uh, very simple uh, mundane automation, right? You should always know that. And tomorrow, 5 years down the line or 2 years down the line, you can't call yourself as a tech savvy if you don't know how to automate, right? Today, if you don't know Excel, today you don't know Word document, you're not a tech savvy. People won't agree with that. The same thing. And then a year down the line, if you don't know how to automate few things, you're not a tech savvy, right? The definition of tech savvy is changing. Now, for if you want to start a career on this, Start with automation, learn the basic RPA tools. Very easy, very, very easy. You won't believe it. Look at some quick YouTube videos. There are a lot of exciting tutorials there. That's what I would start. So that's how, if you want to start a career. Now, if you want to, if you already know automation, but if you want to apply automation in your company, in your organization, then what I would suggest is that that's by the way tricky. Why? There's also, mindset. Why people think that automation kind of, you know um, uh, takes someone's job. It's not really. It's not really. It always empower people here. Automation is so beautiful. I've seen that, sometimes people, um, uh, productivity goes up like 2x, 5x, 10x just when they have a right kind of automation tools. So first and foremost, it's all about the people. So talk to them, make sure they have a good mindset on that. And then the second is that it's all about the process. Try to optimize the process. And that also mindset, meaning you need to help people to understand how to uh, always optimize the process. And then the third is that you should be knowing the basic automation tools, including RP and IDP tools. And that's what I would say, a good start. There's one more last point. Don't try to automate whole process. That's not a good idea. To start with, you always start with a tiny task, low hanging fruit, right? Like take the whole process. There could be hundreds of tasks in it, but now which task is the low hanging fruit that you can just go simply automate it, right? Automate, then show it to the company, see where how people are feeling about it, then continue growing it. That's what I would say. Now, uh, that's one answer, the answer for this question, Marco. Now I'm going to go to the next question. What do you believe are the biggest challenges with automation? Okay, interesting. See, this one, um, I kind of answered that in my previous question. You know why? Um, if you look at it, the mindset, I'm going to go back, right? The mindset, that's a very, very problematic one. And also the choosing the right technology. If you have a really, people call it as like, process people technology. I mean, this is like a very old framework, like 30 years old framework. Wherever you want to go, you need to look at this only three: process, people, and technology. But now if you go here in this automation, people is the much bigger though. Why? Because it impacts people, and not in a bad way, it's in a good way. But however, there is a misunderstanding. So now what do? Again, you need to do a mindset, and that's what, in my perspective, is a big challenge now. And once you resolve that, then it's all about the technology. Choose the right technology. And many of you probably know the concept called lean startup. Like lean startup talks about how can you keep it so lean so that you can grow your startup. Similarly, it's all about a lean automation. You can't ask your management, hey, give me 5 million, I'm going to automate. Nope, that's not right. What do? You look at a so simple automation with the least money involved, with the least time involved, and you automate it. That's what the lean automation. Now we're all talking about hyper automation. Hyper, in my perspective, equivalent to, rapid and hyper. But also we need to talk about a lean automation. You start with the lean. Fail fast, that's okay. Try today. If you fail, that's fine. But if you 2 years, if you fail, it's a problematic, right? So that is what I would say, like kind of keep that framework, people, process, technology, more put a focus on the people than technology. So now I'm going to keep going to the next question. Automation has always been seen as a threat to jobs. What is your opinion? Okay, so good question. I also kind of covered that in my previous answer. Helping our fellow humans and fellow colleagues, um, articulating them in a right way, why automation is not a threat, is so important. And this is where the statistics, a little bit go all the way, look at the history and bring some data. Every phase in this world, right? People always say, something is taken our job. It's always there, right? When the radio was invented, like 100 years ago, the people who are doing this violin and all, the musicians lost job. But is it really lost a job? Not really, because they those folks will become eventually become compare in varieties of places. So it's always upgrading in the knowledge. So two things I would say. One, first, it will give you extraordinary productivity. It will scale up your work, organization level, a team level, or a personal level. This is what actually happens. However, let's not hide the fact there is a chance that there is a threat also. For example, um, I was working in a healthcare company, and then there is a radiologist who look at the complex X-ray image, and they spend like a lot of hours to figure out varieties of things. There is a histopathology image where the inflammation is, right? Now, when we apply AI, we completely automated it, absolutely automated it, right? Now, that is literally a threat to some of the folks in that team because they were doing all these days manually. Now machine can do in a second. I mean, really second, right? Now what happens? So it's not. It's also again how to look at it. Hey, you were doing this boring job. Again, is it a boring or not? I don't know, but I might have bias. But you might be doing this boring job. How can I empower you so that you now do a much better job where you put an intelligence, right? You don't need to look at pixel by pixel manually and solve this problem. You go beyond that. So two things finally. One, it will give you extraordinary productivity, 2x, 5x, 10x. Second, it will empower you, but it all depends on whether you're open-minded or not, right? So that's what I would say. So let's keep going to the next question. I will see one more question there. Folks, if any more questions, please type in. I'm going to read the last question here. Are there any type of document that is not advisable to automate? Interesting. Let me see. Okay, type of document. Okay, let's look at the type here. You're not you. I believe you didn't mean the type in terms of the file format like PDF or Word. That doesn't make sense. So any document can be automated, whether it's a PDF or Word, doesn't matter, right? Now, the another definition of type of documents is that the industry-wise, okay, healthcare and mortgage and all those documents. So is there any document that we shouldn't automate? No, I don't think so. I mean, every document, anything uh, can be, you can apply IDP technology and automate. I don't see any challenges anywhere. However, maybe if there is something ethical related stuff, yeah, you don't apply AI, right? Let's say there's a lot of data where you have personal data there in a specific documents, and if you use those documents to automate, it might end up with some kind of a discriminatory or whatever. Then you may not probably use, but that's again still a type of data, though it's not a type of document. So I don't have an exact answer for that. I mean, that's what I think. Let me see any other questions. I think there's no questions anymore. I'm gonna click this one. Okay.
Yep, I think we've
All right, folks,
Ansari, we've got
that's
4 questions, and you have helped us to answer them as well. Fantastic, Ansari. Is there any other questions for Ansari before we let him go and close the session? Actually, I find the presentation was fantastic. There's a lot of information to digest. I hope the participants actually were able to capture some of that. Not to worry, we will be releasing the recording very soon on YouTube, so you can actually replay that if you want to do that. Ansari, again, we are very, very grateful to have you here with us. Thank you so much for really, really doing this to help our audience to appreciate on this topic itself. Again, guys, thank you, Ansari. Thank you, everybody, for this session. We will now close the session for this recording itself. We will move on. At 11 o'clock, we do have another session coming up, and we want to actually encourage you guys to also join on track 1 and 3. I'll be sharing the screen very quickly.
thank you,
You can actually see that. All right, Ansari, thank you again. Once again, thank you so much for helping us. Thank you.
thank you.